What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to the Linkara's reaction video to History of the Mighty Morphin series. So this is season 3, part 1, and last time I did a reaction to season 2 of Mighty Morphin with his video, we broke down some of the errors of the second season when it came to the changing of the casting and why Austin Walter and Three Train actually left the show due to the money dispute, wanting to pay their stunt doubles for doing a good job on filling in with their fight scenes and such. But you know what? That's exactly what we're here for. And let me share the screen. Here we go. I love this song so much.
Oh my God! Ninja Zombie Power Rangers! This show is friggin' awesome! Ladies and gentlemen and others, welcome to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3. Go, go, Power Rangers! Season 3 opens on the planet Eden.
You got to give credits or kudos to Hasbro for putting out the Najedi Lightning Collection figures of the Rangers. So the only thing we need is, I think they already came out with the Rocky, Aisha. Yeah, I think that's about it. But they only came out with the Billy, Adam, Tommy, and Kimberly. Only thing we need is Rocky and Aisha's Lightning Collection figures as the Najedi Rangers. But on the plus side, thank God they actually added Adam in the Battle for the Grid fighting game. And let's just say he is very, very broken in that game as well. So shout outs to Anyway for doing that.
Where Alpha was originally built. Count Dragon has enslaved the populace in footage that looks even older than the Jew Ranger stuff used for season 1 of Power Rangers. Yeah. The opening 3 episodes are called A Friend in Need, which serves as a backdoor pilot for a Power Rangers-like show called Masked Rider.
That absolutely went nowhere. Just saying. I watched a few episodes in the past and I absolutely hated it.
Like Power Rangers, it would use Japanese footage with American actors. It only lasted a year, and all in all wasn't exactly anything to write home about. No. The show, when released, pretty much removed any references to Power Rangers, mostly because at the time, Power Rangers' ratings were starting to decline. What gets me is that Saban apparently has a library of background music that they sometimes reuse. The music used in these 3 episodes I'd later hear in the dubbed version of Digimon. Don't get me wrong, I actually really like the music.
That kind of explains why it wasn't really original, because I would have think that they would use some of the music from season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but apparently that's never the case. Season 3 is really different. It feels like it was ripped out of the 1995 Power Rangers movie. The way that the cinematography looks, the way that the stunt actors act, and the way that the Rangers actors were in the ADR voiceover their characters. This is exactly what it sounds like out of the movies. Just saying.
I keep hearing it and expecting Myotismon to suddenly attack. Speaking of the music, I need to quickly cover something that I failed to talk about in the last 2 videos. Ron Wasserman. Ron Wasserman was the composer for the series' most memorable tunes, both in fight scenes and the original Go-Go Power Rangers theme. While he didn't compose the music for every season, almost every time he did over the course of the show's run, you'd still be guaranteed something catchy and exciting. Anyway, Alpha is depressed because he received a distress call from Edenoi. Zed is also observing the attack and laments the fact that Count Dragon has been successful in pretty much conquering Edenoi.
I sometimes think if the Boom Studio Comics actually were to use this storyline to create the Najedi Rangers, and please give them weapons. I know they're ninjas, but you gotta have the weapons if you want to be ninjas. At least let Tommy use his saber still as a Ninja Ranger.
yet he and Rita continue to have problems with Earth. The two are apparently rivals, which explains why they never mention him after this three-parter. The Rangers want to know if they can help, save for Kimberly, who is stuck in bed, sick. Zordon lets them go to Enoi, but warns them that the great distance might mean their powers may not be at full strength. Not that will actually make a difference in the episode, nor does it make any sense, since, spoilers, there are alien Power Rangers. And if they're all connected to the morphing grid, then, well, what difference does it make?
Yeah.
After a brief misunderstanding with the Masked Rider, the groups get together and reveal their identities to each other. The Masked Rider is Prince Dex, and boy, hearing him speak just makes me realize how much has changed with the Rangers. In the early days, their acting wasn't all that great, but they got better over time. Dex just sounds really silly when he talks, kind of like he's not sure whether to take his dialogue seriously or not.
You know, that's kind of like that in every other Power Rangers season, even though it's a kid's show. You're not going to get an Oscar-worthy acting performances except for Ava Joan Johnson, who was a much better actress on Power Rangers than all the other guest actors, whatever thing. I mean, but whatever. But to me, just seeing this character talk, yeah, I kind of agree with him. It sounds like he got finished smoking or whatever, but I just don't like his actor. And I recognize his actor as well. He's been in previous martial arts movies before he became the Masked Rider, for those of you who don't know.
Not.
Mind crystals. They give us the ability to communicate our thoughts as well as images. And I remain an outlaw under the guise of the Masked Rider, trying to bring some sense of hope to our people. You have your wish, loathsome barbarians.
Anyway, they fight some Masked Rider villains and they leave. Yeah, that was worth devoting a three-parter to. They just go there and then back to Earth and fight the monster. A repaint of another monster they fought in season 2. Oh my god. New Zord footage again! It really took them 3 damn seasons to finally get this footage, and it's such a nice change of pace. Sure, the sparks that explode off aren't what you normally see in the Sentai footage, but like I care, it's new.
The one thing I hate about season 3's footage of the Thunder Zords is the original footage. They didn't really do anything right like how they used in the Sentai footage. It just feel like they just threw it in there without really doing anything, moving and fighting like a regular human being. I think that's one of the reasons why I really hate the American footage of the Megazords. It just didn't look right to me.
With Dragon heading to Earth in pursuit of the Rangers, Dex is sent to Earth for his spin-off that will, again, never mention the Power Rangers, despite the fact that we now have 2 colossally evil forces trying to enslave mankind. A friend in need isn't a strong start to the season, and it's best just skipped over, frankly. It's not that it's that bad, just that it doesn't really serve any purpose for the show other than acting as a pilot for another show that would never mention them. That being said, there would be a comic book crossover between Masked Rider and Power Rangers later, but the canonicity there is questionable. Instead, the real start for the season is a 4-parter that details the next evolution of the show, Ninja Quest. Rito Revolto, Rita's brother, arrives at the palace with a number of eggs and promises to deal with the Power Rangers. Rito's an idiot through and through, but he's roughly on par with Goldar in terms of power levels, and he leads a bunch of monsters down to confront the Rangers. Meanwhile, Bulk and Skull, having given up on finding out who the Rangers are, Skull in particular seems sick of their constant failure, overhear 2 girls talking about how they love men in uniforms. Seeing an ad for the Junior Police Patrol, they announce to the shock and amazement of the juice bar that they plan to join them, obviously with the intent of picking up women. I'll get more into this when we talk about their development this season. Really, this is just surprising because it's a shock to learn the police even exist in Power Rangers. So Rito fights the Rangers with the monsters, doing serious damage to the Zords. Alpha tries to boost their energy, but the technobabble once it does something, causing some kind of power surge that overloads and strips the Rangers of their powers. Well, at least we have these Zord suits now, and we can still have original Zord fight. Well, crap.
Yeah.
I will say that actually seeing the Zords falling apart like this with wires strewn everywhere and just falling to pieces.
Yeah, I did not like that scene.
It's a pretty disturbing image, on par with the original Megazord getting sliced apart back in Doomsday. I should note that they don't explicitly say that there's a power surge, but it's what seems
like some
to be
Mortal Kombat
inferred by the dialogue. That levels need to stabilize, a bar of lights going into the red, things overloading, exploding, that kind of thing. So how would that strip them of their powers, since those are supposed to be tied into the power coins? Well, recall that last season, when the team got the Thunder Zords, it was said that Tommy no longer had enough power to support a new Zord. It's possible that their powers, while based on the coins, are tied into the Zords. Remember also that the Thunder Zords are actually transformed versions of their original Zords, and when they're destroyed in the power surge, it wrecked their powers too. Mind you, they very likely also function independently of the Zords, just that when the Zords are active, their powers are linked together, and damaging one damages the other.
It's gonna be a long walk back to the command center. Let's get going.
Man, if only we had some kind of flying car we could use to get there. The command center is pretty trash too, and it's clear there's no way to restore their powers with everything in its current state. Adam asks where the powers originally came from, and Zordon explains that according to legend, the power coins were originally forged by an entity named Ninjor, who created them and the Zords to be used as tools in the fight against evil. Alpha says that they also found a map through the Desert of Despair where Ninjor's temple is supposed to be located along with the power coins. This is really an interesting premise, that Zordon didn't create the power coins and that they were actually found by him and Alpha. While they know an awful lot about them and how they work, they might not know everything about them. This could be very useful down the road when we reach certain episodes where they use the old powers again, but we'll get to that when they come. More than that, there may have been different versions of the Mighty Morphin suits in ancient history, and that they're actually...
And shout outs to Boom Studios for actually being creative. And here's the thing with Boom Studios, they've been very creative when it comes to different incarnations of the Mighty Morphin series, of the franchise for that matter. Wild West Rangers, different incarnations of Zack, and let's just say the comics themselves make more sense than the TV show. Can we all agree on that?
Reflective of the period and people who use them. After all, in Wild West Rangers, when Kim gave the ancestors the coins, their versions of the suits had a Wild West theme to them without anything to suggest why that should be. The Rangers travel to the Desert of Despair, which looks exactly like the desert outside the command center. I wonder if Zordon was just screwing with the Rangers when he said it may only be a myth and that they knew exactly where the temple was. Zordon just wanted to get back at them for wrecking his stuff. Pigs in the moon hatch, and they're revealed to be Tango Warriors, giant crows that are apparently fierce warriors. They will be the new foot soldiers of the season. Although, personally, I thought the putties were more intimidating, even if they started to become a bunch of really disturbing interpretive dancers near the end of their tenure. The Rangers wander the desert, losing the map to a fire thanks to the dangers of the area, until they come upon the rocks where Kirk fought the lizard in Star Trek. Oh, but I kid about Vasquez Rocks. That's where the command center is. The Tangas attack, and apparently losing their powers also made them lose their martial arts skills, since they put up a pitiful defense against...
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I don't like about this part. The Rangers are martial artists. Why couldn't they just fight the Tangas like they fought the putties? Like, y'all are still Power Rangers. Why can't you just fight like you normally would? I think that's the one thing I did not like about this part. This saga, for that matter.
It's the birds before finding the entrance to the temple. The Tangas are too big to fit through and obviously too dumb, since all they need to do is turn to their sides to get in, but for plot convenience, that's what you got. The Rangers travel through a tunnel until reaching the temple of Ninjor itself. They find Ninjor inside of a bottle, and it turns out he's voiced by Dudley Do-Right.
Why, you snippety upstart, you happen to be looking at him. I am the great Ninjor.
Ninjor at first refuses to help, but Tommy makes a little speech about how they'll still fight even without their powers. Remember this for a future installment. However, this is of course a test, and Ninjor grants them ninja powers, since of course ninjas wear bright yellow or blue. Now I suppose they do.
And once again, if Boom Studio Comics ever to do a storyline based on the JD, give the Rangers ninja weapons instead of just using hand-to-hand combat. Just saying.
But cool at the very least. They're also assigned new Animal Zords.
Well, before your power came from the brute strength of
Hey,
the
Copper
dinosaurs,
Ranger footage.
now it comes from the swift, intelligent, cunning beginning of the ninja. This is more than a restoration of your range of powers. Your new power coins come with new, more advanced powers.
Rocky is given the Ape Zord, Aisha the Bear Zord, Billy the Wolf Zord, Kimberly the Crane Zord, Adam the Frog Zord.
I'm a frog.
I joke about the frog thing, but while it's a funny line in the movie, the show actually bothers to not make its heroes into a punchline, describing the frog as courageous. The ninja suits you see in the sequence are not a one-off either. They're basically an alternate morph form for them that grants them extra abilities like super speed, being hidden in the dirt, or swapping out their costumes for a fake. While they weren't often used, it was kind of a precursor to the civilian powers displayed in later series. However, the difference here, and why I'm fine with it in this instead of in those, is that they're still in a different morphed form. In terms of combat style, there was also an evolution in how they fought. While, of course, the Rangers always acted as a team, while in their ninja forms, they seemed more likely to interact with each other and perform more complex maneuvers involving at least two people. What's weird in this case, however, is that they morph into their old costumes. Seriously, what the hell? Give them new helmets at least. Did they blow the budget on the ninja suits and the Zord suits that got destroyed only 4 episodes in? I mean, at this point, they're not using Sentai footage for the Rangers anyway, so why not just build some new helmets? Sure, for toys, they'd have to alter the head mold a little, but it's not too drastic a change. That being said, while they've kept the same outfits, they alter the morphing phrases. Instead,
I did not like their morphing called Black Ranger Power, Red Ranger Power. And I think we all know about the White Ranger Power thing. They created a meme as in white power, like, you know how the KKK be, like, y'all get it.
Instead of calling out their animal, it's Pink Ranger Power and Black Ranger Power. And good thing they included the Ranger part, since it might be a bit awkward for Tommy to yell out White Power. Also, surprisingly, they decided to keep Titanus around this season and use the Ultra Zord with the Ninja Megazord, despite the fact that Titanus was from footage from a totally different Sentai. How do they accomplish this effect? They put the toys together, even though they don't look like the Zords from the Sentai footage at all. But yeah, they defeat Rito, but he sticks around as a comic relief counterpart to Goldar. And I love Rito. Aside from just his very cool design, gotta show love for skeletons, while he's a moron, he's still a viable threat who could do some damage. And while I, of course, prefer a more menacing Lord Zed, the fact that he gets under Zed's...
Wait until you see Linkars do a review of Power Rangers Dawn of Fury. I think they utilized him better in that season than they did in season 3.
Skin, I guess, for lack of a better term, is greatly amusing. Ninjor also sticks around as an ally of the Rangers, even being able to grow himself into a larger, kinda, sorta Zord mode. The need for him to stick around is pretty much because of the Sentai footage, taken from the series Kaku Ranger. Ninjor's design is very much fascinating in relation to Power Rangers mythology. While he's from a series completely unrelated to Jew Ranger, the fact that Sentai has very similar designs for the majority of their series, multicolored outfits, black visor, rounded helmet, could imply that Ninjor built other ancient Power Rangers before. Future series would describe other events that happened in history from various time frames, 3,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, etc., and powers that don't have a fully fleshed out origin, just that they are very old. And according to events later this season, we know that the Power Coins were not the only Power Rangers paraphernalia that Ninjor has made before. After a lengthy amount of filler episodes, the next major story arc begins with, believe it or not, a white cat. Aisha adopts the cat, but we quickly learn that Rita has plans with it. As the Rangers battle Rito, the cat transforms into a woman who watches intently. We also learn that Kimberly has been working hard on her gymnastics, which will pay off as part of the story arc. The cat, named of course Cat or Catherine, is an Australian teen under Rita's spell. She goes to Tommy to begin the diabolical scheme.
Excuse me.
Becoming a tramp on Power Rangers. No offense to Catherine Sandler and shout outs to her, but just her character, the way she was introduced in season 3.
Hi. I was wondering, I'm new here. My car's broken down outside and I really don't know what to do.
Certainly, mysterious girl who I've never met before, whose eyes glow red. I'll take a look at your car, despite the fact that there's no way you could know that I'm in any way mechanically inclined, or that I could be of more use to your car than a mechanic. After such a clever ruse, the two get trapped in some sort of alternate dimension, and Tommy is knocked out. While the other Rangers work to free Tommy using one of Billy's devices, Tommy morphs and fights Goldar and Rito. While they're able to free Tommy, Catherine remains under Rita and Zed's control, and the villains start working on long-term plans. This story arc has some really great moments, especially in later episodes. Also, I love the self-referential humor, like this bit.
What is it this time, Finster? A monster that blows itself up?
The next phase of the arc comes in the three-part Changing of the Zords, where Finster reveals that he's discovered the location of a group of dormant Shogun Zords. He thinks that...
to be honest with y'all, I think this was a better saga, a multi-part, than the Ninja Quest, because of the change of the Zords. And you know, one of my favorite Zords from season 3 was the Shogun Zords. The Shogun Zords. Love it.
By combining the technology of the Ninja Zords along with these dormant Zords, Zed and Rita could have their own set of Zords to be used against the Rangers and Earth. No one points out that Zed should really just work on getting new batteries for Serpentera, since the thing's still more powerful than the Rangers Zords, but whatever. Also, one wonders where exactly these Zords came from originally. Again, tying into the fact that the Mighty Morphin team was not the first Power Rangers ever to exist. Rita orders Kat to steal one of the Rangers' power coins so they can gain access to the Ninja Zord technology, since it seems that, like the original Zords, their powers are tied into the big robots. During an attack by the Tengas, she steals Kimberly's power coin. As established when Tommy first lost the Green Ranger powers, being a Power Ranger infuses you with that power, probably tying you in directly to the morphing grid. And if you are somehow removed from that power source, it can harm you, as it does for Kimberly when she's separated from it. Kat also starts falling for Tommy, her jealousy of Kim's relationship with him helping fuel her actions. During an attack by Goldar, Kat steals the Falcon Zord, and Ninjor is abducted by Zed to be used as the power source for the new Zords. So, needless to say, the Rangers are kind of screwed. While the Rangers are distracted by a monster, Kimberly is lured out of the command
And she
center
took
to try
the
to
L.
save Kat from some Tengas. However, in her weakened state, she collapses before she can fight them off, and is taken back to one of Zed's dimensions. Zed directly contacts the Rangers and demands they teleport him to the command center to issue his demands for Kimberly. As stated
this moment
before,
right
the
here is my
command center
favorite.
has defenses to prevent anyone without a power coin from entering. With no
The one thing I like about this scene during season 3 is how intense it felt when Zed entered the command center with or without a power coin. It just felt so real. And here's the thing with season 3, it felt strong when it came to certain episodes and multi-parts. That Alien Ranger saga was crap, and we all know about the Alien Rangers' terribleness.
no other choice, they obey, and for the first time, a lead villain accesses the headquarters of the Rangers. It's pretty damn chilling seeing Zed's chair in the chamber. The lights dim, the area shakes, and everyone is visibly
so like the Undertaker, huh?
simply being there. Mind you, Zed's one-liners get pretty tiresome, but the fact that he's actually there is enough.
He looks so
Regardless
good
of
in
how
this
the
scene.
series has softened him a bit by making him more jokey, he's still evil, sadistic, and powerful. He issues his demands. The Rangers can serve him and be the pilots of his Shogun Zords, or he'll destroy Kimberly, who's currently having her life force drained by one of Zed's machines. They agree, and he departs triumphant. Kat, however, is starting to have doubts about her role in evil. Billy is able to locate the dimension that Kimberly is stuck in, but it's beyond their reach to teleport her out of. Instead, they use the portal devices that they had previously used to access the other dimensions with the green candle and etc. to get in. Tommy goes in after her, but is confronted by Lord Zed. If I haven't made it clear enough, this three-parter is really the highlight of the season.
Yeah.
Besides for a couple of slip-ups, the writing is very strong, and a few very unique things happen, like this scene, the first and only time that Lord Zed ever directly fights any of the Rangers. And while Tommy keeps getting tired and gets thrown around like a rag doll, Zed remains strong, even mocking Tommy's constant hi-yahing. It's only thanks to him shattering Zed's staff that he wins, and even then, it's more like a stalemate, since it's obvious that if they'd continued, Zed would have mopped the floor with him. As I said last time, Zed's the Emperor and shouldn't have to become involved in directly dealing with things that threaten his empire. But this fight, and the earlier scene of him in the command center...
I really hope that when Dino Fury Season 2 comes out next spring in 2022, that Lord Zed either becomes the main villain or a side villain to either work with Void Knight to fight with the Rangers. Because in the 14th episode of Dino Fury, which I reviewed and reacted to, Lord Zed was utilized better in that season than he did here. Because in Mighty Morphin, he didn't really do anything other than create monsters with his staff. Then when he got with Rita, Vister was the one that made Lord Zed's monsters. But in Dino Fury, they gave him something to do, to fight with the Rangers and the monsters, which is something you barely see here in Season 3 of Mighty Morphin. Even though this scene was the most iconic, I still prefer him in Dino Fury. Just saying.
Really shows why he was a genuine force to be reckoned with. Billy manages to rewire the Shogun Zords so they obey their commands instead of Zed's. They won the day, but the Falcon Zord, Ninjor, and the Pink Power Coin are still in Zed and Rita's possession at the end of the three-parter. To save Kimberly's life, Alpha and Zordon cut off her direct connection to her Power Coin, at least until they can recover it. In the meantime, she'll be able to borrow power from the other Rangers so she can at least morph. Also, apparently the Ninja Zords are inoperable while the Falcon Zord is out of their hands. Not sure why the hell that is, but let's just pretend that makes sense. In what is a really nice touch, Kim and Tommy close out the episode with Kim thinking that it's the end of her career as the Pink Ranger, but Tommy reminds her of how she supported him when he lost his powers, and that he'll do the same for her. Here's the funny thing about the Shogun Zords versus the Ninja Zords. In Kaku Rangers, the Zords are actually the other way around. The Shogun Zords equivalents were the first robots they got, using a pink Zord because the Kaku Rangers didn't have a pink team member. Obviously, it was switched around since they needed 6 Zords for 6 members, and I think it works better that way from a narrative standpoint.
Didn't Bandai back then came out with a pink Shogun Zord? If someone... Okay, you know what? If someone in the comments below can tell me, did Bandai of America back in 1995 came out with a pink Shogun Zord? Let me know in the comments down below.
Anyway, after 2 seasons with animal-based Zords, suddenly having the third set of Zords be humanoid in shape would be kind of weird. Better to transition into it by having the Shogun Zords be humanoid as a second Megazord. Sadly, the filler episode in between the multi-parters is Follow That Cat.
Yeah, I hated this
episode. All it does in terms of advancing the story is show more of Cat's backstory, as well as show that Kimberly is going to try to meet with an internationally famous gymnastics coach so she can join his team. Cat is showing more and more signs of resisting Rita's control, so Rita zaps her what good with another blast of evil. It also introduces the Shark Cycle, just in time for kids to have new toys. Even though they can teleport anywhere, thus Shark Cycles make absolutely no sense. Yay! What fascinates me about this episode is that it's an indication that even the criminals in the city are morons, since a car thief steals Kimberly's car in broad daylight with witnesses passing all around him. Rita, being the petty villain that she is, dedicates herself to ruining Kimberly's chances with the plan of making her far too exhausted from fighting as a ranger to do so. And probably would have been fine with retiring if the fight really was over. However, to show that her character has grown, Zed and Rita's attack actually is intelligent as they attack multiple locations at once, forcing the team to split their forces. The Rangers managed to force them all together, but not before needing to pull Kimberly away from her gymnastics. After 2 consecutive fierce battles, Kim returns to the juice bar after hours to practice. As Kat continues to recall her past and how she was taken by Rita, Kimberly starts to lose her balance and gets severely disoriented. The first part ends with Kimberly falling off the balance beam and hitting her head. Kimberly is taken to the hospital, the first of only a few times throughout the entire show's run where injuries were serious enough to justify that, with Kat watching over her. She pulls through, and Kat admits to Kimberly that she was working for Zed and Rita. The others are forgiving of her for what happened, considering Tommy's own history of being turned evil. Though one wonders if she admitted that they've been stroking her this whole time when she was their cat. Speaking of, did she lose that ability? Or are they implying that cats are naturally evil, thus you can only turn into one if you have evil in your heart? Rita contacts the Rangers and tells them that if they don't surrender Cat, they'll banish Ninjor to some evil, dark place of evil. I don't know, Sea of Sorrows, they call it, but really knowing this show, it's Evil Place of Evil number 37. Showing some forward initiative, the Rangers show up for the exchange, but they place a force field around Cat to protect her. However, the villains, of course, try to hand them an empty jar, so this was all kind of pointless. The Tangas attack, and the force field is disabled, letting them take Cat. However, Cat manages to escape her cell and gets the pink power coin. Alpha detects the coin entering the hands of someone good, and they realign the teleportation system to get her back. Kimberly gets accepted into the pan-global whatever, but it means she has to move to Florida. At first, Kimberly is reluctant to go because of her duties as a ranger, but the others convince her that she should follow her dreams. Cat is granted the pink power coin, yet they don't need a big sword to transfer the powers.
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? Although what's even more interesting is that at one point, Zordon suggests that Kim could later return.
You know, for those of you who don't know, Amy Jo Johnson wanted to leave the show because she wanted to pursue other gigs in her career. And if you remember in real life, she's not a fan of pink. So that leads me to wonder.
To reclaim her place as a Power Ranger. While that never happens, the idea of taking back earlier powers is something that'll be touched upon in later seasons. And so another member of the original 5 leaves, although this time handled with at least giving the actress a send-off instead of shipping them off to a peace conference off-screen. Unlike all the previous Rangers, Cat isn't much of a martial artist and has to rely on the enhanced ninja powers to deal with threats against her. However, she does do fairly well, and while she may not be a karate expert, it was established in a different shade of pink that she's a swimmer and later that she's a ballet dancer, so she definitely has her own unique traits to bring to the table, and eventually she becomes an adept fighter, much like how the others had developed their skills over time. Which does bring me to another point that I kind of skimmed over in the last video when Jason, Zach, and Trini left the show. The thing is, when the show started, the 5 were given fairly two-dimensional personalities, but they were at least personalities, and the actors did adjust them over time. However, when they left, Adam, Rocky, and Aisha didn't really have much in terms of personality. Don't get me wrong, as I said, they were perfectly good actors, but their characters weren't given much to work with. Heck, even I would have a hard time pinning down Tommy's personality other than how it related to his relationship to the others, particularly Kimberly or when he took Jason's spot as leader of the team. Kat sadly has the same problem over time. Her inexperience was touched upon only a little bit in her opening episodes as the Pink Ranger, the rest of the time simply taking her place for the plots of the day like the others. Everyone left on the team is pretty much a blank slate. We're told things about them, but nothing that significant. It's probably one of the reasons why interest in the show was beginning to wane. While there were things happening plot-wise that had longer consequences, it was getting harder to invest in characters that didn't really have arcs or development. Plus, it was harder to fall back on just having awesome fight scenes to carry stuff, since the audience had now seen over 100 episodes of that by this point. After a few more filler episodes, the storyline continued with Master Vile and the Metallic Armor. The episode starts off ominously. An earthquake occurs.
And once again, shout out to Hasbro for coming out with the Metallic Armor. And they definitely corrected the Rangers' face sculptures and the helmets that looked like the Rangers.
Sky darkens. When the Rangers teleport to the command center, they find the place offline and Alpha disabled. Even Zordon is missing. Up in the palace, Master Vile, Rita and Rito's father, and ruler of the M51 galaxy arrives. The command center comes back online, their power temporarily being cut off thanks to Master Vile's arrival. Master Vile is very powerful in his own right, and he immediately butts head with Zed, probably pissed he didn't get invited to the wedding. It's hard not to see his point, seeing as the dude owns his own galaxy, while Zed and Rita are having issues with one planet. Although that does make me wonder what the hell Zed was doing while Rita was in the trash can for 10,000 years. Fortunately, Zordon's been working on an all-new defense mechanism for the Rangers. Metallic armor that will further protect them. Wow, an entire new set of armor designed to better withstand attacks? That's fantastic! And what will this new armor look like? Will it be some sort of a blade of armor that folds out? Will it be boxy or smooth? Will it reflect their new animals? Well, the answer is It's frickin' glitter! Yeah,
Here's a
thanks,
fail
Zordon.
bar.
Thanks a ton for this new armor. You're still pissed about the team breaking the Zords, aren't you? I'm sorry, but the metallic armor is so half-assed, I can't even believe they bothered. When I think armor, I think the USS Voyager's Batmobile armor. I think the Chobham armor on a Gundam. Hell, I even think that armor Matt LeBlanc was sporting in Lost in Space. I do not think glitter. What makes it worse is that half the time you can't even tell if they've got it on or not because the Rangers' outfits are already pretty brightly colored. From what I've read, this was just done to try to get kids to buy leftover stock of the toys from the movie, even though said toys actually looked metallic since they used metallic paint on them instead of friggin' glitter. Oh, I'm sorry. It also makes them blurry as if they're moving at super speed. Because if there's anything that a heavier material like metal is known for, it's making things faster. And of course, just like jetting, they barely ever used it. Thanks for taking us out of the story again to remind us that you are a toy commercial. Anyway, as for the story itself, Master Vile insults Zed for a bit. Zed counters that they've still got Ninjor and the Falcon Zord. However, Rito trips while carrying Ninjor's jar, causing the jar to fall and shatter. Ninjor manages to escape, but not before hearing Master Vile say that he's searching for something called the Zeo Crystal. I might as well call it the MacGuffin Crystal. I mean, we know this show, right? Sword of light, sword of power, various bits of technology and other mystical hoodoos show up all the time, and yet they never have any long-term consequences beyond their initial episode. So I'm sure the same will be the case for this thing.
Well, I guess, to be honest with you, season 3 kind of started off rocky. Then it gets good. Then it gets bad because, you know, of when it came to the multi-parts, Amy Jo Johnson leaving the show because she wanted to pursue other acting stuff that she wanted to do in Hollywood. And yeah, let's get to the chats before I end this stream. Matthew Ball, I can't even say it. Matthew Bally, what's up? How's it going? Why do you praise Hasbro? Why do you praise Hasbro so much when they copyright strike you? I don't think they strike me. I mean, I'm just saying that, you know, just out of boredom, even though I'm not really liking Hasbro like that, because I think sometimes they come up with some bad quality toys, in my honest opinion. But yeah, I'm just saying that just to say it. You know, I'm not really praising them like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you tomorrow.